Welcome to My Dream Job Journey, an event series from Adobe where we chat with special guests on how they achieved their dream careers. If we're just meeting, my name is Katrina Torrijos, and I am the Adobe Express evangelist, and I am also a content creator on YouTube and Twitch on the side. So this is our 9th event in the series. So if you wanted to watch our past Dream Job Journey events, check out the Adobe Express YouTube channel for all of the replays, as well as the Creative Cloud LinkedIn page that we're on right now. They will have the replays there for you. And shout out to everyone in chat. Where are y'all tuning in from? I have our team member Jordan already in the chat, messaging you all. We have Jordan from North Texas, Andres from Orlando, Florida. Hello, hi Zoe. Lisa's in the chat. Hello from Reno. Stephanie from New Mexico, Christy from Northwest Pennsylvania. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, I am going to pull up the agenda. Today, we are joined by Maya Hill and Anna Sophia Williams, both amazing creatives who landed amazing internships at Discovery and HBO Max. And we'll be doing a Q&A session, and then they will show us some of the content that they made in Adobe Express that helped them land these amazing positions, and just projects that they have created using Adobe Express. And also, we have some amazing templates for y'all to try and play around with. So if you post your project on LinkedIn, you may have a chance to be randomly selected for a one-on-one mentorship session with either Maya or Anna. And so stay tuned to the end for more details on how to participate in this giveaway. I'm super excited. And then who else do we have in chat? Courtney, hello from Toronto, Canada. Hi, Brian. Hi, Tina. Hello, Jaewon. How's it going? Wow, so many people here today. I'm really excited. All right, Maya, Anna, are you ready for some questions today?
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Yay, I'm so excited. So everyone in chat, feel free to start spamming the chat with your questions on how they landed their internships, portfolio, or like resume tips, anything of that sort. And we will get this Q&A started. So let's start off with some introductions. So just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and a little bit about yourself for those who are meeting you for the first time. We'll start with Anna.
Yeah, hi, I'm Anna. I'm a third-year student at San Diego State University. I'm currently studying international business with an emphasis in Chinese. I'm also an Adobe student ambassador, so
Yeah.
Adobe. Adobe. As well as kind of a little bit more about me. I just love entertainment, I guess. I love consuming entertainment, whether it be movies, TV, music, video games, like anything thrown my way, I'll watch it. As well as I love like indulging in my creative side, whether that be, videography, photography, journaling. I've been getting into that too, reading. Yeah, I love all things creative. And I will be in a Discovery intern this summer, which I'm really excited about. I'll be a lifecycle marketing intern, kind of focusing on the Discovery Plus side. So yeah, I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, super exciting. How about you, Maya?
Yeah, so my name is Maya. It's really awesome to be here with you guys today. I am a graduating senior, so I graduate next Wednesday from Towson University. I'm majoring in advertising and PR with a minor in marketing, and I recently completed an internship at HBO Max as a design program marketing strategy intern, where I worked on such an awesome team. They're based in LA. It was a remote internship, but it was one of the best experiences ever. And I can talk more about like what I did during my internship later. I also interned at HBO Max as a communications intern, and I also interned at Discovery, like Anna, with Food Network back over last summer. And a little bit about me, I really enjoy being creative and like coming up with like creative strategy and like brand strategy. And like Anna said, I really like enjoying like consuming media and streaming. Those are like one of my big passions and things I would like to pursue in the future. And yeah, I'm super excited to be graduating. A little nervous, but I'm excited. It'll be
Oh,
good.
you got this. Congrats on graduating. So exciting. And shout out to all of our graduating seniors also in chat. It's a crazy time right now, but y'all are almost there. Unless you've already graduated, then congrats, you've made it. But shout out to all of our graduating seniors in chat. Okay, so next question that I have is, so when did you know that you both wanted to pursue a career in media and entertainment? Like, what was that aha moment, that click that you're like, "Oh, I wanna go into this career path"? Anyone can start.
Okay. I can start.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I always kind of had like this guilty pleasure of consuming entertainment and just kind of the entertainment field in general. Like my sister and I used to make these like photo booth and iMovie videos when we were younger, and I just knew from then that I wanted to go into the entertainment field. I did want to be a director then, but like that did not work out. But I just knew like something in the entertainment field, like I wanted to do that. And that kind of carried on through college. And I got a role working on campus at the IT department at SDSU, and I was kind of working on the video production side, creating like short tutorials on how to use like certain software, for professors if they were like struggling with things like that. And I just kind of loved like the behind the scenes aspect as well. And I was like, I just love like everything about how entertainment is produced and made, and like, all different aspects of it. So I still kind of didn't know what I wanted to do with that, but I think once I started getting roles within the marketing field and, clubs on campus, as well as, being an Adobe student ambassador, I was like, I love marketing and connecting with people. And I feel like there's a way I can connect that passion of mine and entertainment with, that professional side of me too, and create like my dream job, and that's kind of what happened. I was like, I can do that. So I just started looking for roles that were really, companies I looked up to, or, TV shows that I loved from specific companies, and started applying. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be where I am today. And Discovery is like a great company, and I love all their TV shows. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So for me, I'm originally from New Jersey and I go to school in Maryland. And I never thought that, an opportunity would arise for me to work in entertainment, because it's like I don't go to school in New York, or I don't go to school in California. So I didn't think that that would be something attainable to me. So I do kind of give credit to the pandemic. Like, although it's been a horrible time and a lot of things have happened, I will say like my silver lining is just access to virtual internships. So people like me who, go to school in Maryland or live in New Jersey have access to these like really big internships. So I am a part of the T. Howard Foundation, which is an organization that helps to diversify media and entertainment spaces by providing diverse people with like internships and access to those spaces and industries. So through the T. Howard Foundation, I joined that back in the fall of 2020. And then that's how I learned about like, the Discovery internship and how I got started at Food Network. And it really just opened the door of opportunity for me to just work remote access companies. And I knew I wanted to work in entertainment because I have a YouTube channel. Like, I'm creative, kind of like Anna. I used to make like music videos on iMovie with my brother when we were little. So like I've always loved creating content in some way. And then, by having my own YouTube channel, creating content, building a following there, and working in kind of influencing spaces, I've known I really just love creating content and sharing content, and making sure that, diverse voices are heard, and making sure all things are correct in that aspect. So that's why I'm really interested in marketing and advertising, to make sure, the right people are represented by those brands as well. So I really enjoy marketing and telling stories through that. Also like experiential marketing in those ways. So I always knew entertainment was right for me, but I didn't know it was like able and accessible to me. So my piece of advice for anyone who's kind of feeling like imposter syndrome or not sure that they can get into it, there's definitely ways to build connections and get into the industry, and there's a room for you in the industry. So definitely don't give up.
Love that. I love that
Yeah.
so much. We have so many people in chat giving y'all like congratulations. Jessica saying yes, impressive Maya. Tiffany said yes, congrats to all the seniors. Shout out to Maya. DeAndre says congrats to all the seniors. I graduated last year and it's been a whirlwind. Lots to look forward to. Odalis said hi Anna and Maya. Congrats to you both. Amazing accomplishments. Awesome. And Sarah said big congratulations to the both of you on the internships. Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
So
Thanks,
many
guys.
people.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so much love in the chat. Okay, so we have our first question from the audience. This is from Christy. How do you see the future for careers in the area developing? What's coming next?
I would say there's a lot of opportunity, especially with streaming, because I was at HBO Max and Anna, she's going to be with Discovery Plus. So there's a lot of opportunity coming for streaming, and especially with Gen Z consumers, like there's a lot of opportunity for us because companies want to know how to reach us because we have such a large buying power in the industry. So they want to know how to reach us. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity for like us as we graduate and get into the workforce to give our perspective and really help these companies target because we know what works best for us and they're love the millennials but sometimes they miss the point a little bit, so there's really going to be a lot of opportunity for Gen Z as we like get into like marketing and streaming as well.
No, yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, that streaming is like the future. I definitely agree. Like, it's just how people consume media today. Like, it's if you're wanting to watch a movie, it's like, what streaming platform is it on? Like, can I watch it on this? Can I watch it on that? Like, it's the future of like how we're gonna connect with our audience and people. Like, more personalized, more centered to specific people. It's all about like knowing who your audience are, like who the people are watching your streaming platform. It's really cool because you're kind of diving in and getting to know your audience a little bit more. And yeah, I find it really interesting, as well as social media too. I feel like that is like especially with Maya talking about like influencer marketing and stuff like that. And that's definitely like, I mean, we've seen it through like the past couple of years, especially with like the pandemic. At the height of the pandemic, that was how people were going to be marketed to. People are not really going out. So what do you do when you're online? You see, a brand new shoes you could buy. So it's really cool to see how the industry is becoming more tailored to specific people. So hopefully a lot more careers are open to, like Maya said, to Gen Z and the future.
Love that. Love that. And the next question is from Maria, and this is for Anna. How do you plan to incorporate your degree with entertainment? Because your incoming internship with Discovery, right? You have not started yet. So how would you plan to incorporate what you learned in your experience at school?
Yeah, so like I said, I am like an international business major, especially like emphasizing in Chinese. I will be emphasizing in a business aspect too, probably marketing, but it's kind of scary to think about. I'm like studying Chinese. I'm like, how am I gonna apply this to everything that I'm doing? But what I find that is most interesting, for me, like I said before, I'm like a very people person, so I love like learning about people's experiences and who they are and what they stand for. I guess I'm a little nosy in that way. I just like love like learning about people and their experiences. So I feel like that ties in really well with international business because it's all about learning about, culture, being culturally aware and learning how people interact in different countries. And while I'm not going to be working like internationally and probably not going to be using my Chinese in Discovery this summer, I think just having that experience of interacting with people, there's going to be people from all over the place, and using that interaction with people is going to be definitely helpful for my degree. But hopefully in the future, in entertainment, I feel like it would be really interesting to maybe, work in China or, somewhere that I can use my Chinese in entertainment. That's something I've always thought about. So yeah, it's a interesting degree and I really love it, but I feel like it can be applied to almost anything. So that's a good
Nice.
question.
And how about you, Maya, who's already been like at an internship? Like, how have you used what you've learned in university and applied it to your work in your internship?
Yeah, so one of my classes actually really stuck out to me. I didn't realize how much that class was going to be impactful and apply to my internship. So, as a part of being like a part of the advertising concentration in my major, we had to take an advertising campaigns class where we created an entire campaign from like the ground up. And our client that we got was Peacock. So, we had to do research, we had to do a survey, we had to do a SWOT analysis, like pretty much the entire campaign. And then one of the parts of the campaign we had to do was writing a creative brief, which was was talking about how we want the creative to look and what our goals are and like how we want it to turn out in the end. And then fast forward to my internship this past semester, I actually got to work on a lot of creative briefs for my internship, which was really cool for different projects like the Batman, which was like really awesome. I did an intern project talking about Gen Z audiences where I got to write a creative brief for that. So it was really cool to have had experience in my classes and then get to do it in my internship. And that's something that I really enjoy, which is, why I'm interested in like marketing strategy, creative marketing, and all that stuff. So it was just a really cool like connection moment.
Nice. Love that. Next question comes from Sarah. What is your favorite part of the industry?
Yeah. I'll go first. I think my favorite part of the industry is how fast things change, and then also there's always like a new movie, there's always a new show, there's always an upcoming star. Like there's just so much happening in entertainment. And I would say when I first got to college, I knew that I wanted to do something that people see, oh, a mass comm degree. Okay, what are you going to do with that? It's so broad, but I feel like there's just so much happening in entertainment that applies to like mass communication and advertising. And I know that I always wanted to work in a fast-paced environment. I didn't want to do the same thing every day. And I would say in my internship, I never did the same thing every day. It was always changing. There was always something new, something popping up that you have to fix, or, a new idea, or working with a different team for the day. So it was really cool. So I would say my favorite part of the industry is just the fact that there's so much happening all the time. And it's really fun.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. I didn't even think of that. It's always changing. I guess mine kind of fits in with that in a way. I was just gonna say like the storytelling aspect of it. I just love like, watching a new TV show and something that I like would not care about at all, like, and I just immediately like fall in love with the storyline or the characters, and I'm like emotionally connected with whatever characters on the show. I just love that aspect of, storytelling and in a creative and different way. Like Maya said, like everything is so fast paced and so many new actors are on the rise, and so many like I just saw like a really amazing movie, everything everywhere all once, that
Yes.
I was like, that is literally like the best movie I've ever seen in my life. Like it was like I've never seen a movie like that before. It's just so unique and authentic, and I just love like how, the Daniel brothers, I believe, are the directors. Like they communicated, their story and showcase their story in like such an authentic way, and I love that part of the industry. So.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Okay, and then I have another question from Veronica. Do you know of any like great foundations or programs for diverse individuals looking to enter the field? I'm a Latina first gen and just graduated with a double major in marketing and international studies. So, did y'all run into any programs or any resources you may have for folks?
Yeah. So first off,
Mhm.
congratulations on
Yeah.
graduating and being first gen. That's really awesome. I would definitely say the T. Howard Foundation is a great organization. As I mentioned earlier, it's focused on diversifying, media and entertainment spaces and giving space for, people who aren't normally in there. So anybody that's like a person of color would fit into that program. And then also the Emma Bowen Foundation is another similar foundation focusing on diversifying like media and entertainment spaces. So I would highly recommend checking out those two programs. There's like a lot that you can learn from the programs. There's mentors. I'm a part of the T. Howard Foundation, so I can speak to that one. Like you get paired with a mentor, and there's also after you complete a successful internship, there's an alumni network that you get added to. So there's a job board where they're constantly posting different jobs, and then also just networking with people who have been a part of the foundation. I even met someone at HBO Max who was a part of it back in like 2010. So it really does span a lot of time, and you're gonna always meet somebody who had been a part of it and gives you like some way to connect within the industry. So those are my top two that I would recommend looking into.
Yeah, also congrats. Love the
Yes.
international studies major. Woo. One that I do know of is the MAID Foundation. I tried to apply to it in the fall. I believe it opens in November and then it closes in April, but I didn't apply till like January. But there's a lot of cool opportunities on there where they connect you with specific companies from all different types of industries. So I'm not sure if you're like looking specifically for specific industry, but basically when you like apply, you kind of just pick out the industries that you're really interested in and the jobs that you would be looking for, and it also connects you with a mentor in that way if you do get past that first round. I did apply a little late, so I did not get past, like I didn't even know about it until like January. So I wish someone told me earlier, but that's definitely a great resource I would recommend to use, just to, I think it only offers internships, but a lot of the roles, most of the time go into full-time jobs. So that's something you're interested in. And, kind of jumping off of that, using like your campus resources. Like I used to work at, I like just finished my job at the San Diego State Career Services. It was a great opportunity. I didn't even know, I just didn't even know where the career services on my campus was. Like I did not know anything about it. And I kind of wish like I went there more often because there's a lot of great resources there, as well as, I'm not sure what university you attended or college. But the people who are working there want to help students and they're there for you. So yeah, congrats again.
Yes. And then I have some folks in chat dropping other resources. Like Ariana said, Unlock Her Potential is a mentorship program for women of color. You can look that up as well. MAIP, and where are all the, what's it called? MAIP, or sorry, Sarah said MAIP, and where all the Black people are good orgs for POC and advertising. And we have a what's it called? A follow-up question. Can recent grads apply to these programs that you mentioned?
I know specifically for the T. Howard Foundation, you would have to be in a graduate program to be able to see. You still have to be in school for that one. I'm not sure about the Emma Bowen Foundation though.
Yeah, for the MAID Foundation, I believe you can apply like, recent grad and things like that. I believe so. I'd have to double check though.
Yes, and we have Simone in the chat saying Emma Bowen Foundations, shameless plug, I am a mentor. So Simone might have the answer. Awesome. Okay, so let's see if we have other questions. Oh, this question is for Maya. If you have a piece of advice to give graduating seniors who have been rejected by their dream internships before, what would it be?
Yeah, so I would say this like quote or like the saying that I've been hearing a lot, especially as I start applying for jobs, is taking rejection as redirection. And that's something that's really been helping me get through the job search process because it's brutal out here. Like it's hard. It's so hard. I would say, for me, when I was first applying for internships at Discovery, I applied for 10 internships. And I ended up being able to like interview. I interviewed with 3 and I got accepted to 1. So I would just say don't give up. Like if this is something that you're really passionate for, look in another company or, look for an adjacent role or an adjacent team. And just really be persistent and consistent, reaching out to people, having like coffee chats and, not really giving up. Like the entertainment industry, it's hard. It's really rough, but it also is really rewarding. And there are great people that work in the industry. So building your connections, finding people that you can connect with and who can, connect you with somebody else or just, shadowing somebody. There's ways to like get in, but I would say, take that rejection as like a redirection for like a better opportunity waiting for you.
Love that. And Anna, if you've ever dealt with rejection from an internship, do you have any advice?
Oh yeah. I actually like applied for a Discovery internship for the spring and I got rejected completely, but I continued to follow their LinkedIn page and, kept track of like what was going on and stuff like that. And once they released their summer internship applications, I like jumped on that, applied to like, I don't know, like 5. The whole spring semester, I was just applying to internships and just constantly getting rejected. I love that saying that Maya said. What I was gonna say was just, consistency is key, which is not as pretty as Maya's, whatever she said is really nice. But I think, just failure is really hard sometimes, but you just have to take it as a way to improve yourself and continually realize like, what can I do better? What is something, it's not, if you're doing your best, you're not failing, and I think that because I remain consistent and just keep trying and trying and trying again, you're just going to get rejected, but you're going to get something out of it. I think if I look back at my resume, like in September, oh, I don't know how I was applying to jobs with that. Now I'm like, it's totally different because it's, totally changed it because of rejections and things like that. So you got it. We believe in you.
Yes. Okay, I have a question from Binta. Any advice for working in a new state or city? I'll be in a new state for my summer internship and I want to use up my time the best that I can.
Yeah. So for me, unfortunately, all of my internships have been virtual and remote. So I never got that experience of like going to the city or whatever for my internship. But I can say being a part of the T. Howard Foundation and then also through my like discovery internship, there were a lot of group meets that we made. And it was like group meets like for the internship. And then also we like broke off by city. So like there were like a New York group meet, a DC group meet, like just based off of like where you were living. So definitely, networking with your fellow interns because I feel like that's another thing that people don't realize is that, your intern friends and like your intern coworkers, like they're going to be the people entering the industry the same time as you. And that's really important to like build connections and relationships with them. Like I'm really, really close friends with one of somebody who that I finished a T. Howard Foundation internship with, and like we're hanging out in New York. We went to LA together. Like a really great friendship was built off of that. So don't, always networking up, but also networking out. So like the people that are
Mhm.
like at the same level as you is important. So just, reaching out to people via GroupMe or LinkedIn, and then just like doing meetups that way is a way that I found to be like a really like fun way to get to know people. And congratulations on your internship.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
congrats,
Andrew?
Binta. Yeah, I've also haven't had like a job or an internship yet that's like taken me to a new city. But I'm excited since I'll be in a new city this summer. And especially, what Maya said, just connecting with people. I know in the Adobe Student Ambassador Program, like there's people from like all over the nation that it's like fun to connect with people. And honestly, I think Binta and I might hang out. She is an Adobe ambassador, so I think we may
Yes.
hang out. I know you're in the chat, but like we'll probably hang out, and connecting with people in that way. Yeah, finding people in your intern program, I'd probably say, basically what Maya said.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I feel like networking and stuff is one thing I've noticed with a lot of talks is like networking seems to be the key in reaching out. Whether a lot of folks said like actually through LinkedIn, and sending like invites or like sending messages for like what Maya said, doing coffee chats and stuff, is a great way to meet people. So yes. Oh, and definitely like I've at Adobe, we definitely had interns that were not well, I'm based in California, so we had an intern like who was in Florida, and she just what she has done is like another tip I saw her do was like don't what's it called? Don't be shy to like explore the city, like make time to go out and like go sightseeing, make time for yourself and like explore as much as you can while you're there because internships, they have a end date. So like, you
Mhm.
don't want to spend all that time like working and stuff like that and just also like take that time to explore the new city, be adventurous, do whatever you want, live it up, look at bucket list. Pinterest is a great tip for if you're traveling, like things to do, places to eat, all that stuff, especially if you're solo traveling. So I hope that helps you out.
Also, I've seen TikTok is really good, like things
Mhm.
hashtag things to do in New York City, like those are really good hashtags to look
Yeah,
up.
that's like been my whole search history. I'm like places to visit.
Yes, nice. Okay. So I actually have a question for y'all that I think would be a great time to touch on is like what are some of your like top like internship application tips because you both said you applied to so many different internships. A lot of them did not work out, but of course, all it takes is one yes. So like what do you feel was like maybe an adjustment that you made to your application or portfolio or whatever you submitted that helped you land your internship?
You
You
can
wanna
go.
go? Okay, okay. So for me, so when I first started like applying for internships in general, like I had no internship experience. Like I started out with no internship experience and just I was like a social media ambassador for like my university at the admissions program or the admissions department at my school. So really like understanding what transferable skills are and like doing research on that is so important, because a lot of people always say, you know, well, I don't have any internship experience. How do I get an internship? And it's just taking like the skills that you have, whether you're in a sorority or you're in a club, an organization, you're holding a position on like the executive board, you're president, whatever those skills are, and taking them and transferring them to whatever the job description is for that internship is really key and important, especially like when this is like the first internship that you're applying for. And then also like really reading through the job description and tailoring your resume to what that description is, and not submitting the same resume for every job, because every job is different. I know it is a little bit tedious and time consuming to go in and change things, but really, you know, sometimes on the internship description, it'll really highlight, you know, PowerPoint, Excel, Word. So make sure those words are like in your skills section of your resume. And something else might highlight Keynote or Final Cut Pro, or like an editing software like Adobe Premiere. Adding that into your resume as well. So really just like reading through what the description says and tailoring your resume that way, because a lot of times they use like, you know, resume like reading software. So it's really about keywords for those softwares to pick up to really like help you.
Love that.
Yeah, that was great. Just kind of adding on to that, I would probably say just, I know I've said this before, but just like using the resources that are offered on your campus. Like you're paying a lot of money to go to college, you like might as well use that resource. And even if you're not in university, like being at this, you know, session right now, you're already like taking the first step and, you know, taking advantage of free resources that are available to you. But specifically like for, you know, if you are in college, using, you know, career services, meeting with your professors. A lot of my clubs used to have, you know, workshops, or I would just go to random workshops and see like someone who could read my resume, or, you know, sometimes I'd ask my dad to read my resume, which was not my favorite thing to do because very particular in what I would have to change. But, you know, using your peers and people that you look up to, that's going to be the best thing. That's kind of, you know, take shape of your resume, and kind of maybe things that you didn't notice that you should add or maybe change, as well as, you know, Maya said, like getting involved on campus. And like my freshman and sophomore year, I didn't really like, I mean, of course, sophomore year was like the height of the pandemic, so I couldn't really get involved that much. But
Right.
I kind of started putting my foot out there a little bit more, and, you know, trying to join clubs that I was maybe interested in, and just kind of getting a feel of something that could not necessarily look good on your resume, but something that can see if you actually want to go into that field, and testing the waters almost, if like that's something you're interested in, and gaining those skills that you can transfer into your resume. So getting involved on campus, just utilizing all the resources that you can get.
Yeah, I think that's also one thing that I can totally relate to. Like me being out of university for like what, almost 5-6 years now, I think. I don't want to count the years. I don't want to face the number. But yeah, that is one thing that I wish I did more, was like utilize a lot of resources, because when you're out, all those resources are gone and not at your disposal anymore, you know? So I definitely feel that, like utilizing everything that your campus has, and even just exploring more. And becoming like, one thing that like my sister would always say is like, have like dabble in almost everything, and like prioritize, you know, having a well-rounded skill set, because, you know, you never know which ones will stick or which ones like I'll be more passionate about. And then you know, and it's also great to get experience in like different fields and different perspectives and stuff. So
Yeah, exactly.
I feel both of you. Awesome. Okay. So we are about halfway through the session. So I'm feeling a little bit of a creative break is needed. So we're going to actually pivot the Q&A for a little bit and take a little bit of a look behind the scenes on some of the creative projects that Anna and Maya have made for us using Adobe Express today. And you know, just see their creative workflow and how they use it within their work. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we'll start with Anna. Do you want to talk a little bit about what your project is about, or what you created? And then just let me know. And
yeah, of course. Yeah, so I created my own logo through Adobe Express when I was applying for internships because I wanted to include a portfolio on my resume, just because I've done some creative work, whether it's graphic design or with Adobe, being an Adobe student ambassador, things like that. I really wanted to kind of personalize my portfolio on Adobe Portfolio, plug Adobe Portfolio, love it. I just wanted something more tailored to me and more unique to me. So I created this this logo through Adobe Express. So easy and simplistic and user friendly. So yeah, we can start the video and I can show you how I did it. So the first thing I did was just kind of go through the search bar and look through the templates. There's so many cool different things you can do. And with going through logos, there's like a bunch of different logos that you can choose from and utilize their templates. But I just started from scratch because I kind of knew what I wanted to do. And it'll also be there on the left-hand corner if you want to kind of toggle back too. Another thing too, when I'm going to change the color, I already had downloaded my presetted like colors that I wanted to use. And I'll show you how to do that later through the brands. You can like kind of make your own brand kit. So yeah, and then now I'm going to add my first text and I'm just going to put my initials, which are AW. And I'm going to change the color again. And you'll see that my colors that I presetted in my brand kit will show up again, which is really cool, and we'll go more in detail. So I kind of went with this burnt orange because I thought it kind of matched the background really nicely. And I'm going to change the font too because I kind of had a font in mind, so I just kind of typed it in. But there's so many different fonts that Express offers that you can utilize. As well as you can also, if you really want to, import your own font. So if you have a font in mind or maybe a font that you like created, you can import your own font into that fonts tab too. But I just kind of like this one the most, so I use that one. I'm just centering it. And then honestly, like this could just be a logo by itself, but I'm gonna make it a little more like juicier. So I'm gonna add some more text. And you're going to see me putting in "Made with Love, Anna Williams," which is like cheesy tagline, but I just feel like everything I make is with love. So I'm putting that. And obviously I do love that font, like I said before, but I just kind of wanted something a little less like pleasing to the eye. Like I just feel like it's a little aggressive with that much font. So I'm looking for quicksand, and you'll see add fonts in the top right, which one I was talking about earlier. Yay! And to stylize it a little bit more, there's like this really cool effects tab under where you can kind of change the effects of your text. So you can like make a semicircle, there's like a grid option, magic, which I don't know about that one, but I went with like a circle one that kind of, makes a circle around my initials. And then you'll probably see here in a sec, I'm just going to space out the letters a little bit because I just feel like it's a little too jumbled. So just spacing out the letters a little bit. Yeah, and then I'm going to resize it. Looking good. Yay! And honestly, that could be a logo too, but I have to do the most. So I'm going to add one more thing. On the shapes icon on the side, you can click on that, and there's a bunch of shapes and icons that Adobe Express offers like for free, which is so cool. Since I'm writing "Made with Love," I'm going to look up a heart because I feel like it would be kind of cute to put the heart in the O. So as you can see, there's like 53,000 hearts that I could choose from, but I just like thought that one was the cutest. So I went with that one, and I'm coming to my colors. My logo colors are automatically in there. I'm just going to resize it. Yay! So cute. But yeah, and also if you do like have, your own assets or icons that you created on Adobe Photoshop or something like that, you can upload them on design assets too, which is really cool. But yeah, yay. And now I'm going to show you how to animate it, which is like kind of having a little bit more spice to it. So there's a really cool animation option for Adobe Express. I really like the color shuffle one, which is so cool. All you have to do is click a button and it animates it for you. But I didn't really like that one because I just felt like it was a little too flashy. So I ended up going with like the grow one, which I'll show you in a second. And this is great for like, emails or putting it at the end of your email or something like that. And yay. Perfect. Okay. And then you can download it as an MP4 or a PNG, whatever you want. I downloaded as a PNG for my portfolio. But yeah, and now I'm going to show you how to go to that brand. So if you come back to the homepage, there'll be the brands thing on the left-hand side, and you can create your own brand. So as you can see, I put my logo in there already, and that way, every time you create a project, you can add your logo. You saw the colors were automatically there every time I create a project. So I added the colors that I like to use. So I can just customize it every time and utilize my brand kit. That way I can just splat my logo on whatever I create. And yeah, it's so fun and easy. So that's it. Thank you. I hope you make some cool logos.
Nice. Love that. That was so cool. I have yet to make a logo on Adobe Express. So like that gave me so much inspiration. Okay. So next I will pull up Maya's demo. And would you like to talk about what your project is?
Yeah, so for my project, I created a LinkedIn banner, and I learned this. I don't even remember when. I think it was like at the beginning of like when knew I wanted to be in entertainment. That LinkedIn banners are actually like really important. It just shows that you put a little bit of extra thought into your LinkedIn profile, especially when you're reaching out to people and connecting. It gives them a little look into your personality and what you're looking for in a role. And my previous one said media and entertainment, and then building like lasting relationships. And then I wanted to make something a little bit different that just kind of focused on marketing. Although I'm so interested in media entertainment, I wanted to focus on like what part of entertainment I'm looking for. So it's marketing. So we can start off.
Nice.
So yeah, I just typed in like LinkedIn banner and it just came up right there. So Anna's super creative. She was able to come up with something from scratch, but I go with a template, keep it real easy. So Adobe Express offers so many different templates to choose from. And this one right here, the pink one, really stood out to me because it was just bright and it just really caught my attention. So I thought, if somebody saw my banner on LinkedIn, it would catch their attention as well. So there's a lot of different like text options that you can choose from, but I just wanted to go ahead and change the name. So I just first ungrouped it so I could edit it, and then you just type in your name right there. And it's like Adobe Express is really easy to use. It's very intuitive, very user friendly. And the next thing I did was go ahead and move the title. And I liked how it was like vertical, but I wanted mine to be, right under my name. That way it's easier to read, easier for people to understand exactly, what I do and what I'm looking for, whether that be in connections or in a future role. And I know that on LinkedIn, their like little profile circle like takes up the left side of the banner. So I just kind of shifted everything over to the right a little bit so that when I upload it into LinkedIn, it doesn't cover the words or what I'm typing. So some things that you can include in your banner are your location, your role, the industry you're interested in, something you're passionate about, a tagline. Any of those things would be really good to add into your resume. And then even for people who are students, something that's really big that I try to like tell my friends and peers is that you're not just a student, you're an aspiring marketing professional, an aspiring designer. You are many things. You don't just pigeonhole yourself to say that you're a student. So, whatever you want to be, just go ahead and put that on your banner or as your like tagline or our headline on LinkedIn. So now I just added a different background because I thought it was just a little bit too much pink going on. So I had to break it up a little bit. And you can see there's like font recommendations, but I like the font they gave. But I wanted it to stand out a little bit more. So I added kind of a shadow to it so that you can see my name a little more clear. And I like the text that was for my like, little tagline, but I wanted something that was a little bit different to catch your attention better. So I was just scrolling through trying to find a font that, caught my eye, something that was like more serif that has like little, lines on it. And then I just went ahead and added an outline to it just to kind of tie the design together, make it look cohesive with the pink, and then also make it a little bit more legible. And so, yeah, just adjusting the size so people can see it. So as you can see, I added my location where I'll be based out of and what I'm looking for in a role. And that is my LinkedIn head or what is it called?
Banner.
LinkedIn banner. So yeah.
Yay. Oh, I love it. The background's so cute.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Love that. Both of your projects were so cool. Another thing I need to do, a LinkedIn banner. I did not, I have not made it yet. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing your projects. We have folks in chat loving what you've created. We have some folks saying like, love what you're sharing, Maya. Ricardo said, didn't know Express could be used on desktop. That is super cool. Yes, so Adobe Express is available on desktop as well as the iPad and on mobile. Binta said, great demo, Anna. Megan said, so good, Anna. What a great logo. Michelle said that is awesome. Thank you. Now I want to rework my logo. Same. Same, Michelle. I am with you. Monique said, love the creativity on your logo, Anna. Megan said, well done, Maya. Excellent LinkedIn banner. Lisa said, awesome stuff, both of you. Ricardo said, just tried it. It's so fun. Yes. And great demos. Fire emoji. Love that. Cool. So we have a little bit of time left, so I will go back to Q&A. If you were to start your career journey all over again from day one, what would you do first, or what would you do differently?
Wow, that's a good one.
Day
I can
one,
go.
you don't know what you're gonna do. You don't know what you're gonna do yet. Your first steps. What are some tips you got?
Yeah, I would say the first thing that I would do differently would be to connect on LinkedIn with people who are in the industry that I'm interested in learning about different roles. Because when I first entered into like discovery, I had no idea that there were so many different like facets and teams within the like just Food Network alone, and then branching out to the larger discovery company. So really just reaching out to people with different their job titles and roles in the industry, and just connecting with them for a one-on-one chat, just saying, hi, I'm interested in an internship in this type of field. I would love to talk to you about like your position and learn more about what your team does, just to kind of have a better idea. Because especially when you're like applying for different internships, sometimes the descriptions aren't really that clear as to what team it's on or what type of role it is. So really just like reaching out to people so that you can kind of have a better understanding of what roles and opportunities are out there to figure out what would best suit you. And then kind of tying that back into when you're already in your internship, don't be afraid to like reach out to other teams or talk to your manager to connect you with other teams. I remember when I was discovery, I was reaching out to people on talent relations and talent management and marketing, and ad promos. That was like a really cool one. And even just like if you're not interested in it specifically as pursuing it as an internship, just having an understanding and knowing what advertising promos are, what the talent management team does. It really just helps to build a better picture of how everything works together, and then how your team falls into that overarching goal of like the larger team. So that would be my advice on that.
Yeah, no, that's great. I definitely believe that LinkedIn is like your best friend through everything, especially like in the entertainment field. It's so scary to like message people randomly, but honestly, like what's the worst that can happen? They're gonna say they don't respond, or they say no. Like you just gotta do it. I guess like I have like two pieces of advice. I guess one of them is just like I said before, like I wish I just got more involved on campus. Like in freshman year, like I was a part of like one club, like I was in a sorority, and that's all I did. Like I would come back and I would like hang out with my friends, which is fine, like sometimes, but I just wish I took more of like a jump start on what I wanted to do in college. And being more involved now, like I've met so many cool people and talked to so many people that who are my peers who are also in the entertainment field, and kind of got like a feel of like what they gathered from their internship experience, or getting a lot of advice from your peers or older classmen and stuff like that. Like I just wish I was more a little bit more involved my freshman year, as well as just I wish I wasn't as hard on myself. Like I just feel like when you're applying to all these internships and like these big roles, you're like, I feel like I don't have any experience. Like I don't know what to say. Like I don't think, like there's so many times where I just didn't apply to a role because I just didn't feel like I could live up to the expectations, or like completely fulfill like that experience that, you know, I probably could have, but I just like was a little bit doubting myself, I guess. So if I could redo it, I just wish I was like a bit more confident like I am today. Like it's crazy. If I never would have thought I would be doing this, like if you told me 2 years ago I would be doing this, I would like literally be like, you're crazy. Like I was like just didn't like public speaking or like things like that. Like I just wish I was just a little more self-confident in myself. You guys can do it. Believe in yourself.
For sure.
Nice. I have a question from Elizabeth. The fun question. What is your favorite show or documentary?
Ooh, that's a good one.
My favorite show, well, I always have like so many favorite shows, but there's two. One of them just like finished like I think in February, which was on HBO Max. Both of the ones I'm gonna say are on HBO Max.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. Succession, like it was a show that I like did not think I would like at all. Like I watched it on an airplane one time and I was like, but then I watched it again and I like completely like was like addicted to the show, and I just love like how the writing is. It's like satire and funny, and as well as very like each of the characters are having like really hard experiences, and you can tell how thought out the show is. As well as a show called Barry. It's like with Bill Hader. It's also on HBO Max. They just released the 3rd season like just now. I like completely forgot what happened. I was like really into that freshman year. It's like it's a little more dark humor, but I really love that show because it's just funny, and I love Bill Hader too. He's like the main role. It's like about this hitman who becomes an actor. He like decides he loves acting, and it's like this weird thing of like he's like killing people but also trying to act and like get into his emotions. It's a really good depiction of PTSD and like mental health and things like that too. So yeah, those are probably my favorite shows right now.
Yeah, my favorite shows also are on HBO Max. Another shameless plug. Great content there. I would say my first favorite show is Insecure. Like I love Issa Rae. It's so funny and relatable. Like as a young Black girl, like it's just really relatable and I just love it. And then also I started watching recently Raised by Wolves, which is also on HBO Max. It's interesting, it's different, but I would give it a try. So it's like sci-fi, post-apocalyptic, on another planet, androids. Yeah, I've like got a whole favorite Star Wars. It's really good if you like sci-fi types of shows. But as you can see, I like a very wide variety of different content between, you know, Insecure and then Raised by Wolves. But you know, it's really good.
I literally saw that when I was going to HBO Max today, like Raised by Wolves. I was like, what is that? Maybe I'll watch it.
You have to give it a try. You have to like watch the trailer or like watch the first episode. Like you got to give it a try.
Nice. I love that. I definitely need some shows to watch. So definitely also people in chat, drop your favorite shows right now. I would love, I'm sure we would all appreciate some recommendations and more shows to check out. Okay, so last question. You only get one line, okay? One sentence. Okay, maybe 2.
Okay.
But if folks were to take one important thing from the stream or one last piece of advice from you, what would it be? Yeah, like 1 or 2 lines.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to like say it in one sentence.
Rub it.
I'd probably say I've like said this so many times, but consistency. So I'm not gonna go into that. But showing that you're passionate and like bringing your passion to whatever you're doing, like in resumes, interviews, like that's like what ultimately got me my role. Like when I got my call from my recruiter saying I got the role, she was like, we really loved that you said you were obsessed with entertainment. Because in my first interview, I was like, hi, I'm Anna. Like I have a semi-healthy obsession to consuming entertainment. And I guess they really liked that. They said they loved that about what I said that because I do. Like it's like a guilty pleasure and it's a passion. And I think just showing your passion, like people love listening to what you're passionate about. Like I have a friend who's chemistry major. I don't know anything about chemistry, but every time she talks about chemistry, I'm like, wow, like this person loves chemistry. Like it's like so interesting to listen. And especially in your interviews, like you can connect anything that you're passionate about to like pretty much any question that they ask you, you know, there's a way to connect it. I definitely think like showcasing what you're passionate about is really going to make you stand out.
Love that.
Yeah. I would say mine's really closely related to what Anna's saying about like consistency and passion. I would say always be your authentic self no matter where you are, because authenticity and being genuine goes a long way. You know, when you're genuinely reaching out to learn about an opportunity and you just genuinely want to learn more, like people can see that. And you know, just like really being your authentic self, because like, you know, you're only yourself. Don't try to be someone you're not. And I feel like that's really what's gotten me into, you know, these amazing internships and opportunities, is just being who I am, and being a genuine person, because it really can take you a long way, and people can see through, you know, when you're trying to be phony, or like when you're trying to like show up as someone that you're not, like people can see through it. So
Mhm.
I would say my piece of advice is just like be your authentic self and just be a genuine person, and you'll go a long way.
Boom. There you have it. The last two gems from Maya and Anna. Thank you both so much for being here today. And thank you so much, everyone in chat, for hanging out on the stream. I'm sure like the community really appreciates your advice and your time for being here and sharing your experience with us. So thank you, Maya and Anna.
Yes,
Thank
thank you for
you.
having us. It's
Yeah,
been so
that's
much fun.
so cool. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Okay, so now let's talk about that giveaway I mentioned earlier. So we have a few fun remixable templates made with Adobe Express, and we want to know what your dream company you'd like to work for is. So I'll pull up some past templates, and someone on my team will drop the link to the templates down below. It's totally, if you don't have an Adobe Express subscription, that's totally fine. All these templates are free to get started. Just click on it and you'll be able to create from it. But here are some of the templates that our community has created. So super simple. You just add in your headshot if you want to, or and then you can put the logo or like the text of companies that you would like to work for one day, because we're all about putting out into the universe, manifesting it, and putting it on LinkedIn. So that is the next piece. Once you create from this template, we would love to see it on your LinkedIn profile. And, you know, if you're feeling a little gutsy, definitely tag the company because maybe they'll see it. You may never know, really. But definitely use the hashtag Adobe Dream Job and hashtag Express It for a chance to be randomly selected for a one-on-one mentoring session with Maya or Anna. And the deadline to submit will be May 24th, on next Tuesday. Yeah, next Tuesday, May 24th at 11:59 p.m. So that is the deets. And then I'll have Jordan drop that info again in chat. But yeah, also we'd love to have your feedback on this event so that we can make them better for you in the future. So please take a moment to fill out our post-event survey. The link will be in chat. Jordan MVP dropping all the links in chat, I'll say right now. So thank you so much, Jordan, for helping me out with that. But yeah, so, with that said, that pretty much wraps it up for the stream. Thank you all so much for joining us today. And thanks again, Maya and Anna, for being here. And yes, we also, if your questions did not get answered today, so apologies, we only have an hour together, and you know, we'd love to answer everyone's questions. Feel free to connect with Anna or Maya or myself on social. We have Jordan drop our social links. Oh man, Jordan just dropped all the links. So you can connect with us on social and on LinkedIn. And yeah, we'll be able to get to, you know, your questions and, you know, connect on there and hopefully answer some more of your questions. So yes, that I believe that was the last piece. But yes. Thank you so much everyone for hanging out with us today, and we'll see you in the next stream. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.